it's the Dick Van Dyke Show. So, what was Dick's name on the show?
Rob.
Rob Petrie. And what was the show name for Mary Tyler Moore? Laura. What was the name of the child on the show? Does anyone know who played Richie? That's hard. Larry Matthews. Right. Now, what was Rob's boss's name?
Alan.
Buddy Sorrell. That was his show name. Okay, last question. When Rob came into the house after work and he walked in the door, what happened? He would trip over like an ottoman, that's it. Okay, on with number 2. Now this TV show, this is a little more difficult than the last one. This was on TV, 1959, 1960.
Coming of
Okay.
age.
1, 2, 3, 4.
Okay, that was a theme song to a TV show called Mr. Lucky. Anybody remember it? And what was the plot of the show? Pretty close. Mr. Lucky was a professional gambler that ran a floating casino on the Lake.
But he stopped.
Yes, he did. And there was another character on the show by the name of Ross Martin. Does anyone remember the show he did later after that? The Wild Wild West. Okay, number 3. Now this is a animated series that was on prime time. Yep.
1, 2, 1, 2, 3,
Anybody got that one? Pretty close, but it's the Family Guy. Does anyone remember the Family? Did we get the Family Guy? You need to go like this. Oh, okay. Okay. So this was the adventures of the Griffin family, and the father's name was Peter, the mother's name was Lois, and the children were Beg, Chris, and Stevie. Okay, we're on to number 4, and this was on television from 1976 to 1981. And I guarantee everyone's going to get this one. This is an easy.
1, 2.
The Muppet Show, right, that's right. Does everyone remember the Muppet Show?
I married one.
You married one.
Kermit.
You married Hermit?
Kermit.
Or Kermit?
It
Was he-
wasn't what he was cracked up to be.
Okay, well, we all have that every once in a while. Does anyone know who created the show? Yes. But the actual creator was Frank Oz. And there was a bear on the show. What was the bear's first name?
Ozzy.
Fuzzy. Fonzie. Right. Fozzie. F-O-Z-Z-I-E. I couldn't quite read that.
You want these?
I have another pair here, but neither one of them worked too well. Who played Kermit the Frog on the show? We mentioned him before, Jim Henson. Now, what was the name of the cook on the show? The Swedish Chef. Now, sometimes on the show, they were in a theater, and there's these two old guys that were kind of hecklers. What were their names? Waldorf and Statler. Okay. Now,
Anything else?
there was a drummer on the show. What was the drummer's name? Animal. Now, one time, and I can't remember if this was in the Johnny Carson show or some other place, but it was kind of they had two drummers on the show that did some drumming. One was Kermit the Frog, and the other one was Buddy Rich. And that was one of the funniest things you've ever seen. Okay, number 5. This was on TV from 1949 to 1957. Everyone get that one, didn't they? That was an easy one. Now, this theme song originally came from classical literature. Does anyone know the actual name of the theme song?
William Tell Overture.
Correct. And who wrote the William Tell Overture?
His brother Benny.
Rossini. Now, who played the Lone Ranger on the TV show?
Clayton Moore.
Clayton Moore, that's right. Now, what was the name of his sidekick? Tonto. What was the name of the actor that played Tonto?
Harold Smith.
Jay Silverheels.
His name was Harold Smith.
It was?
Yes. He's
Yeah.
from Canada. His name
So
was
how come I
Harold
didn't
Smith.
know that?
Because I just read it the other day.
What was his horse's name? Silver. And when the Lone Ranger was on his horse, getting ready to ride, he would say, right. And what's the line that Tonto was known for? Right. Okay, we're on to Mr. Class. Would you like to do number 7 or number 8?
Yeah, 7's cool
Number 7.
for now.
Okay, number 7. This began in New York City on TV in 1943. And it was on, originally started as a radio show. It was on the TV. And you'll hear it for many, many years after that, up until the 70s. little bit obscure. Okay.
1, 2, 1, 2, 4.
That's the theme song to ABC News. Okay, on to number 8, and this was on television from 1964 to 1972.
One, two,
Anything else? Anyone else know it? Bewitched. First one. Okay.
What'd she say?
Yeah.
Bewitched.
Oh, bewitched.
Oh, repeat what they said.
Now, what was the name of the female lead in the show? Samantha Stevens, and does anyone know who played Samantha Stevens? Elizabeth Montgomery, that's correct. Now, who was she married to? And Darren Stevens was played by whom? There were two Dicks, York and Sargent, right. And what was Samantha's mother's name? Endora. Who played Endora? Agnes Morgan. Now, there was a nosy neighbor. What was the neighbor's name? Gladys Kravitz. Okay, we're on to number 9, and this was on TV from 1993 to 2004.
One, two, one, two, three.
What's the name of the show? Frasier, that's correct. What was the name of the main character on the show? Dr. Frasier Crane, and that was played by whom? Kelsey Grammer, correct. Now, what was the name of the maid? Do you know? Daphne, that's correct. It was Daphne Moon. And who played Daphne Moore? It was Jane, is it Leaves or Leavies? And I actually was watching a TV program last night called Hot in Cleveland. And she's on that show with Betty White.
Yes.
What a great actress Betty White was. Wow. And what was Fraser's brother's name? Niles. Does anyone know who played Niles? Very, very close. David Hyde Pierce. What was the name of the radio producer? Roz Doyle. And the father's name was what? Martin Crane, correct. Okay. The dog's name? Eddie. Now, the original name of the theme song is called Tossed Salad and Scrambled Eggs. That's the name of the theme song. And do you know who sang the TV song for the intro of the television show? Kelsey Grammer. That's right. Okay, we're on to number 10.
One, two, 1, 2, 3, 4.
77.
Step along with me if you want. The thumbs are getting sore Okay, what's the name of the show? Andy Griffin. And that was on from 1960 to 68. Andy plays what character on the show? Andy Taylor the Sheriff, correct. Where does it take place? Mayberry. And what state is that in? North Carolina, correct. Now, what was Andy's son's name? Who played Opie? Ron Howard.
51.
Now,
Channel 51.
one of the favorite characters on the show was the deputy. What's the show's name for the deputy?
Barney Fife.
Barney Fife. And who played Barney? Don Knotts. Exactly right. Now, Andy and Opie lived with whom?
Aunt Bee.
Does anyone know who played Aunt Bee on the
Frances
show?
Fabian.
Boy, you guys are good. That's obscure. Okay, last question for the Andy Griffin Show. What was the name of the barber? Floyd. Number 11.
They stopped at
1, 2, 1.
So, that was a hint to the name of the show. Anyone know the name of the show? Mr. Ed. Now, Mr. Ed was on from 58 to 66. And who owned Mr. Ed? Wilbur. Does anyone know his last name? Wilbur Post. Now, what was the special thing that Mr. Ed could do? He could talk. Now, Wilbur Post was played by what actor? Alan Young, correct. And what was his wife's name? Does anybody know? Carol. Now, last question for Mr. Ed. What breed is Mr. Ed? The horse. Golden Salamina. Okay, we're on to number 12.
1, 2, 4.
You're close, but not quite. Anyone know the name of the show? It has something to do with Mayberry. Gomer Pyle, that's it. Who played Gomer? Jim Neighbors, and of course it's a spin-off show from Andy Griffin. And on Gomer Pyle, what was the name of the sergeant that he always had problems with? Sergeant Vince Carter, you're correct. Now, this is a hard question. Who played Vince Carter? Frank Sutton. Okay. This next theme was for a show that was on 1971 to 79.
Yes.
We moved every 5 years.
2, 1.
Any guesses? Yeah, that's right, All in the Family. What was the name of the main character? Played by whom? Carol O'Connor. And the name of the wife? Played by? Name of the daughter? Gloria. And who played Gloria?
Sally Struthers.
Sally Struthers. Now, what was Gloria's husband's show name? Not nickname now.
Meathead.
No, not that. His actual show name. Mike Stivic. Yeah, it was played by whom? I heard it over here. Rob Reiner. Right. Okay, now here's my next question. What was the name for Michael?
Meathead.
Right. You did that too soon. And now, another TV show spun off of All in the Family. Does anyone know what that show was? Jeffersons. Okay. Last question for All in the Family. Now, Archie sometime had a nickname for that he would talk to or call his wife. What was it?
Dingbat.
Dingbat. And there was another one that was like a little phrase. Stifle yourself.
Oh, cycle.
I don't know. Would that go on TV today? Question. I don't know.
It didn't go in our marriage.
It didn't? Okay, number 14. Now, this was on TV a long time, 1955 to 1971. That's the Lawrence Welk Show theme song. Now, does anyone know the actual title for that theme song? What's the name of the song? Very close. It's called Bubbles and Wine. Now, how did Lawrence Welk make the champagne bottle sound? Okay. We are on to number 17. And this is one of those shows that has a great theme song, but it's a little obscure. This was on television from 1964 to 66.
17.
Number 17.
Concert.
1, 2.
But yeah, that was a show called Secret Agent Man.
I had a boring life.
Wasn't that a fun tune?
Yeah.
I like that. So, does anyone know the name of the main character on the show?
The secret agent man.
John Drake. And that was played by Patrick McGoohan. McGoohan. Thank you, Ed. I'm not too good at pronouncing things, you know that?
Oh, really?
Yeah. And now, John Drake worked for the English government, and he also worked for MI9. I don't know if there's such a thing as MI9, but anyways. So here's number 18, and there again, this show is a little obscure, but it's a great theme song. It was on from 1958 to 61. Now, depending on you to get the title right.
I was just a baby.
Weren't we all? Okay, number 18. Gunn, right. A lot of people don't get that one. You know, that may very well be the same composer. Is that the same composer?
Henry Mancini.
Henry Mancini? Same composer as that tune. Okay.
Peter Gunn.
Does anyone know the name of the
Henry Mancini.
location that was the primary location in the show?
Lucky.
It was a jazz
There you
club.
go, Mr. Lucky.
It was called Mothers.
Oh,
And they
yeah.
called it a Smoky Wharf
Yeah, I
side
got
jazz
you.
club.
Yeah, I got it.
Now, what was
Secret
Peter
agent.
Gunn's occupation?
What was that?
Private eye. Exactly. We're on to number 20.
You're not gonna ask about Lola,
Did I miss something?
his girlfriend.
Oh, I don't know.
Lola.
Lola? Did they write a song about her?
No, but
No?
she was pretty.
Okay.
Her name was Lola? Is that what you said? She was a showgirl?
You
Oh,
are.
she was a chauffeur.
Oh, there we go.
Come on up and teach us that song. Okay, this was on from 1965 to 86.
Wow. That's a long time.
That's a long time.
Yeah, I raised my kids.
Count yourself in and give the full.
Didn't have time to watch TV.
You know, the count, do the count, and you got the first measure, yeah. 1, 2, 4.
I heard it. It was the dating game, correct. That was the dating game. Now, the dating game had another TV show that spun off of it. What was the name?
Divorce.
Oh, divorce. It was the opposite of divorce. The newlywed game. Okay. Last question about the dating game. Does anyone know the artist that performed the theme song for the show? He was a trumpet player, and he had such an identifiable sound. You heard him play, you knew exactly who it was. Herb Alpert. And the Tijuana Brass. Okay. Number 21. And this was on TV from 1947 to 1960. And everyone's going to know this one, believe it or not.
47, 60.
See, I knew you would get that one. That was a Howdy Doody show. What was the name of the main star of the show? A real person. Bob Smith. And what was his TV name? Does anyone know? I heard it over here. Buffalo Bob. That was it. Now, there was other puppets that had these really kind of goofy names. Can you name any of them? Flub-a-dub.
Princess Winter, Spring, Summer, Fall.
Princess what?
Winter, Spring, Summer, Fall.
Princess Winter, Spring, Summer, Fall. And what else do we have?
Clarabelle.
Clarabelle. And anything else? Chief Thundercloud. I also had Mr. Bluster. Now, when the host asks what time it is, what do the kids say?
It's happening.
It's Howdy Doody time. Now, the clown on the show, all the years that he was on the show, never said anything. On the very last episode, what did he say? Goodbye, kids. He only had 2 words for all those years. Should we do number 22, Mr. Plass?
Yes,
Or is that
we
too
should do
obscure?
that.
You want to do number 22?
Yes.
Okay.
Clarabelle, you didn't say who played it.
I have no idea.
Bob Keeshan.
Bob Keesha, that's news to me. Should I write it down for next time?
Yeah, because he was Captain Kangaroo.
Was he really? I remember Captain Kangaroo
Yeah,
and Mr. Green Jeans.
yeah. Monkey Branna.
Boy, you are sharp.
No, I'm old.
So, this show was on 57 to 63.
One, two, 4.
Little more obscure. Anyone else?
She's got it, right?
The Real McCoys.
Yes.
Now, on The Real McCoys, who played Grandpa?
Brenna.
Walter Brennan. And there was also another character on there called Luke McCoy. Who played Luke?
Richard Crenna.
Richard Crenna. Does anyone know where the show took place? California. San Fernando Valley. Okay. Number 23 has been on TV from 1960 in several different forms. There was a movie made about it, and so there again, everyone's going to get this one.
Right, real quick to get going. 1, 2, 3, 1, 2.
Popeye the Sailor Man. Did everyone get that one? Yeah. First question's easy. What was his girlfriend's name? What did Wimpy say?
I'll gladly pay you Tuesday for a hamburger today.
Right. Everyone hear that? Yeah. And what was the name of the baby on the show? Sweet Pea. The name of the villain? Brutus. What did Popeye eat to Griffin? Great strength. Everyone got that one. Okay, this is getting a little harder. What was the name of Popeye's boat? The Olive. Last question. What did Popeye blow to make the whistling sound? His pipe. Okay, the next one is number 24, and this was on television from 1962 to 1971.
One, two, 1, 2, 3.
Yes, that was the Beverly Hillbillies. What was the name of the main character on the show? A man.
Jed Clampett.
And Jed was Jed Clampett. Who played Jed?
Buddy Epson.
Buddy Epson. And what was Granny's show name? What was her name on the show?
Granny Clampett.
Yes, that's true. It was Granny Clampett. But her actual show name was Daisy Mae Moses.
That's right.
And Now, Donna Douglas was on the show, and what character did she play? Ellie Mae. Now, she had, Max Baer was on the show, and what was his show name? Jethro. Now, the name of the next door neighbor? Milton Drysdale. Now, Milton had a secretary, and what was the secretary's name?
Jane
Jane, yes. What, do you know her last name?
Hathaway.
Hathaway, that's correct. Now, anyone know who played Jane Hathaway?
Nancy.
Nancy's correct. Nancy Culp. Now, the theme song for the show was performed and recorded by what music group? Flat Scrubs, that's correct. Now, Granny had a swimming pool in her backyard. What did she call the swimming pool? Cement pond. Now, she claimed she had an occupation. Does anyone know what that was?
Medicine woman.
Correct, mountain doctor. Now, when she was doctoring someone, she couldn't use anesthesia, but she used something else. What was it? White lightning. That's correct. Now, Ellie Mae had a lot of animals in her house. You always talk with animals. What did she call the animals as a general name? Her critters. Okay, Mr. Class, why don't you
26.
Why don't you introduce the group for premiere and also acknowledge the center and who played for us.
All right, the first question I got is, would the real Dave stand up?
We have 3 Daves tonight. We're going to call it the Dave Group.
Yeah, really. All right, we have Dave Sporty right here on trombone, Eddie Murray, sax and clarinet, Dalton Ross, trumpet, David Neal, bass trombone, Jeff Russell over here on bass, and we have Dave Choquette on drum, and I am Mr. Class. Oh, yes. We want to acknowledge the Arts Council, Massachusetts Arts Council. That's is paying for our fee for today. That's the money that you send in when you play Keno, the lottery, you know, all that type of stuff. It's going to a good cause. No, it really is.
So play more Keno and more lottery.
Yeah, really.
So, Mr. Plass, do you want to do number 25 or 26?
Let's go with 26.
Okay, number 26.
So you get it.
Now, this show was originally on television from 70 to 75, and then it came back as a remake in 2015, and I think it's off TV now.
Just give me a count. I'll do the thing.
1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 4.
I heard it over here, The Odd Couple. Now, on the first TV show, what was the name of the two main characters? Felix and Oscar. Now, who played Felix Unger? Tony Randall. And who played Oscar Madison? Jack Klugman. Where did they live? New York City in Manhattan. Now, what was the nature of Felix? What was he like? Neat and, almost, but that's the next guy. He was neat and tidy, and Oscar was,
Wow.
right. Now, what did Felix do for a living? Photographer, that's correct. And Oscar,
Sports writer.
a sports writer. Now, in the first remake that came in 2015, who played Oscar? Anybody know? Matthew Perry. And who played Felix? That's really obscure. Thomas Lennon. I don't even remember him. So anyways, part number 27. And this is another TV show that had an original and a remake.
You got a good shot.
The
Yeah.
original was from 1968 to 1980, and the remake started in 2010.
And it's still going.
I don't want to give the whole thing away. Okay.
1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 4.
Say it. She knows it.
Hawaii Five-O. Hawaii Five-O, right.
That's the best theme song.
That's a great theme song, isn't it? I think I played that in high school in band on a football field. I don't know. Okay, the main character is who?
Garrett.
Steve McGarrett. In the original show, he was played by what actor?
Jack Lord.
Jack Lord, correct. Now, what was his sidekick name?
Danny.
Dano.
Danny. And anyone know his last name on the show? Williams. Who played Dan Williams?
Originally,
We're at the original show now, correct?
James.
It was James McArthur. And what would Steve McGarrett say to Dan?
Hook 'em, Dano.
Now, Steve McGarrett had a job before he joined Hawaii Five-O. What was the job? He was a Navy intelligence officer. Now, the theme song was recorded by what music group? Did someone say it over here?
Yeah,
The Ventures.
I whispered it. I thought it did.
Okay, now we're on the new show. Who, I think it's off TV now, isn't it?
Yeah, it was,
Yeah. It was on for quite a few years.
10 years.
10 years, right? What is the person that played Steve McGarrett on the new show? I heard something over
I
here.
can't remember his first name, McLaughlin.
Alex. Alex McLaughlin. And the sidekick, Dan Williams, was played by what actor? Scott Caan. And there was a character on there called Kono.
Yeah, I know.
Who played Kono?
Ray Spark.
Ray Spark, you are correct. Now, I was going to ask what Dan's nickname was, but you already said it, so I can't do it. Now, next one is number 28, on TV from 64 to 66.
They're gonna have to tell him.
1, 2, 3, 4.
favorite TVs when I was about this high. Anyone know the name of the show? The Munsters. What was the father's name on the show?
Herman.
And that was played by what actor?
Fred Gwynn.
Fred Gwynn. Now, another character on the show was Grandpa. Who played Grandpa?
Al Lewis.
Al Lewis. Now, what was the mother's name on the show?
Morticia.
No, wrong show.
Yeah, you're right.
It was Lily. And who played Lily Munster? Yvonne DiCarlo. Now, what was the son's name? It was Eddie. Now, this gets more difficult. Who played Eddie? Gosh, you are good. Butch Patrick. Now, the vampires on the show were Henry, Lily, and Grandpa. What character was Eddie? He was a son, but he also played a werewolf. Now, what was the name of the ugly duckling in the family?
She was the niece.
Marilyn, that's correct. Now, Grandpa had this really cool car. Does anyone know the name of it? The name of his car was called Dragula,
Was what? Dragula. Oh.
because he was a vampire. Now, what was the name of Grandpa's pet bat? Igor. Now, Eddie had a pet too. What was the pet? It was a dragon. And where did it live? Under the stairs. Now, what was the dragon's name? Spot. And
I remember that.
the Munsters lived at the address of 1313 Mockingbird Lane, Mockingbird Heights. Okay. Number 29, this show was on TV from 64 to 66.
I want to get some music.
1, 2, 3.
Okay, what's the show? Okay. What was the name of the mother? Right. Who played Morticia? Carolyn Jones. The name of the father?
Johnny Estes.
Nope. Gomez. Played by whom?
Paul Paul.
John Aston.
I said that. You said no.
Did I miss it?
Yes.
See, I was listening to her over there.
Betraying me already. We only know each other 10 minutes.
That's been 45. Okay, what was the name of the butler? Lurch. The uncle? Fester. Who played Fester? Jackie Coogan. Am I going too fast? I think I'm going too fast. The name of the son? Pugsley. Pugsley. And what was the name of the daughter? It was not Tuesday, it was Wednesday. Yes. Does anyone know who played Wednesday on the show?
Wednesday.
You are correct, Lisa Loring. Now, there's a hand that ran around the house. What was the name of the hand? Think.
It was the.
What did Lurch say? You rang. Okay. Now, Morticia called Gomez a couple of pet names. Do you happen to know what they were? Close, but not quite. Bubala or Mon Chéri. And Gomez called Morticia. That's right. Now, what was the cousin's name?
It.
It. Was that the one with the long hair? There wasn't anything else? Okay. Now, Lurch played a musical instrument. What was it? The harpsichord, right. Okay, last question. When the doorbell rang, what sound did it make? Like a foghorn. Okay, we are on to number 30. And this was on TV from 65 to 70. What's the name of the show? Get Smart. All right. What was the name of the lead character? Maxwell Smart. Who played Maxwell Smart? Don Adams. What was his agent number? 86. You must have liked the show, huh? Yeah. Now, he had a sidekick. What was his sidekick's name on the show? Agent 99. Does anyone know who played Agent 99? Barbara Feldon. Now, what did Maxwell do when he wanted to make a telephone call? He'd take his shoe off. It's kind of funny. Now we can almost do the same thing right out of our pocket. And he worked for an intelligence agency called Control. Now, Control had an evil enemy. What was that agency's name? Chaos. Okay, last question for Get Smart. Now, when Maxwell wanted to tell his boss a secret, what did they do? Cone of silence. It came down from the ceiling, and of course they were yelling so loud everyone could hear it. What one would you like to do next, Mr. Class?
I was thinking 33. These guys never played it.
33, okay.
Is it possible, Ed? Okay, you know what we should do?
What should we do?
51.
51.
Because we're almost out of time and this will take care of it. Now what we're going to do is we're going to play a full song. Whoa.
Okay, this one doesn't have any questions, but you're all going to recognize it. This is our only full song of the night.
Oh, let's see.
We have the Tonight Show, but not with us. Can't play it by memory.
Did we do 15? Did we do 15?
Okay, number 50, and then we shall close it out. Huh?
15.
Oh, it's 15, I'm sorry.
Yeah, I don't think we did that one. Did we skip that one, maybe? Yeah, 15.
I was gonna say that would be it.
Okay, number 15. This is so obscure, I don't even remember it. You're talking about 1-5.
1-5.
Okay, 1-5 it is.
I don't know if we've done it.
Here we go.
1, 2.
We don't do any questions about it, but what's the theme song to what show? See? I knew we couldn't get it. Gidget.
Who was Gidget? Yeah, what else did she play? Did she play a nun? Was that on Gidget?
No, it's a different show.
Oh.
Well, thank you so much.